Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Josh Sparkman, and in this video I'm going to be installing a 2-inch lift kit into my dual cab ute. I've never done this lift kit before, so far I've been winging everything. It looks alright, so I'm going to show you guys how I did it so that you guys have half an idea on how to do yours. So thanks for clicking on the video and enjoy. So start off by chocking off the front wheels and then jack the rear of the car up from a suitable jacking point. I just jacked it up from the rear diff and it seemed to work fine for me. After that, you can safely lower the car into a pair of axle stands. We'll be doing one side at a time, so pick which end you want to do and remove the wheel. This video will be based around upgrading the rear suspension on my 2006 Mitsubishi Triton. Alright, so here's what we're looking at. We've got the U-bolts that hold the leaf spring to the diff. We've got the rear shackles. I've got the 2-inch extended ones, so we're gonna get those off. And we got the front, mounting point or the leaf spring. So I'm gonna start off by taking off these U-bolts, which are 4 bolts beneath the mounting plate. Give them a quick spray with some WD-40, because they've probably been sitting there for 260,000 kilometers, so that'll help it. And there's the bump stop and the U-brackets out now. So alright, now that bump stop's out with the U-bolts and all that, now I'm going to take off that rear shackle. So I'll undo that top pin there, and I'll just knock it through. Alright, now that nut is off, I'm just going to knock that pin through and that'll release the shackle. Get a flathead screwdriver in there. Oh. Oh, twice. There we go. Let's see if this will work, eh? Oh, here we go. Just use the jack there just to bring this point lower. Finally got that rear pin out, the rear shackle. Now, just to get that front point out, that front mounting point right there, and then this leaf spring should be right to come out. So I'm just going to use this socket with a extended bit on it to get more leverage to hopefully crack open this bolt here. Yeah, it's just spinning. Now there's a nut behind that one, so I need to hold it with the ring span on the other side. Pop that there. Pop that on the other side of the bolt. There we go. Now the nut's off. Give it a tappy tap with the hammer, if I can. I did a little bit. I don't want to stretch any line, so I'm going to put a jack under this point here. And that should stop the diff from just going bang and just dropping. Yeah, I'll do that there. See if I can lever that out. My plan is I'm going to use these multi-grips to give it outwards pulling pressure, and I'll use the paddle gun to pull it out at the same time. Looks like it did something. Come on. Oh. Yeah, so there's some line connecting, that's just connected to the leaf spring right there. So we'll undo that. And then this whole leaf spring assembly should be ready to come out. Woohoo! And that is that leaf spring out. Now that the leaf spring's out, on my car the shocks are attached to the mounting plate of the U-bolts for the leaf spring. So I'll just take off this actually I'll take it off up here. I've got the jack under the diff there, so none of these have tension on them. You don't want to stretch any of these stuff. There we go. So the pack comes with some greasable shackles, and it also comes with that front, you know, that front pin that holds the leaf spring on. So it comes with another greasable one as well. So this one is for the front of the leaf spring, towards the front of the car. And this is the shackle we're going to put together. So that's a shorter one, so that'll be the pin that goes into your leaf spring. And then the longer one is the pin that goes into your chassis. You'll need some kind of a vise just to tighten up the bolts. I've just got some vice grips, which tends to do the job fine for me. You don't need it too tight, just tight enough. And I've got some Loctite in there too, so that'll help it hold it in place. Pop that back up. You just unscrew that nut there. Then I screw that puppy onto the side that has the thread. One of the shackle sides has a thread and the other one doesn't. And that's how you know that the nipple side goes onto the side with the thread. Yeah, I'll do the same method how I lock my vice grips into there. Yep, and that's pretty good there. That nipple there, you tighten that one up a little bit. You don't want to do it too tight, so if you do it too tight, you'll bust it. I'll put a bit more Loctite for that nut there. That's ready to go, so get the socket on there, tighten that puppy up. Now the good thing about these shackles is, you saw the other one had to completely knock the pin out the top because the two sides aren't actually like that. It's just one whole piece. You can see what I mean, how the other one is just one piece. So I actually had to knock that pin through. Yep, so you got different types of bushes. On my model, the two bigger bushes, they're for the front of the leaf spring where, you know, just a single pin goes through. The two less diameter but longer ones, they're for the actual chassis for your shackle. And the two shorter ones go inside the leaf spring for your shackle. So with the front mounting point of your leaf spring, these will go inside of the you know, the leaf spring, and then this other piece will go on the inside of that. And this pin, the greasable pin with the nipple on it, that goes through that, and that's how you mount it. So I've just got some grease from Bunnings, some moly grease. Yeah, this is what I'm going to use to grease all of the bushes and stuff. So now we're up to the stage where we can sit the new leaf springs in there. There we go. Now's the time to sit the new shackles into position. I'm going to have the grease nipple facing outwards because it's really easy to get to from here. And that's pretty much it. We just pushed it right in there, as you saw. Now we're gonna put this plate on the other side, bolts onto the other side, and we won't tighten them up just yet. We'll tighten them, you know, a bit, but not torqued or anything, because we will tighten all the bolts when there's actually load on the suspension. Yeah, so now that's done, we'll move on to the front. So now you just got to mount the front of the leaf spring with the greasable pin. So we'll pop that in there and see if we can, you know, get it to work. I'm going to do the same method I did before. Sit the jack on the leaf spring, jack up from the chassis, and I'm pretty sure that should bring that hole down. So what I'm going to do to fix that issue of the hole not quite lining up, I'm going to run a ratchet strap from my rock slider to the diff, so I can bring that diff that way, and that'll make it, you know, line up. So see how that goes. Let's see if this will bring the diff a bit more forwards, which it looks like it's working. Yep, go. There we go. The pin is now in there. Yeah, so now that that pin's through, I just put that nut on and I won't tighten it up just yet. Like, I'll tighten it up a little bit, but not heaps. And once the car is down on the ground, you know, supporting its own weight, that's when I'll go ahead and tighten up that bolt. Okay, so now that the shackle's attached and the front pin of the leaf spring is attached, there's a little align bolt that goes through this leaf spring, and there's a hole in your diff, so that align bolt has to line up with the it's going to look wrong, but that align bolt has to line up with the leaf spring to sit in there. You can see that my leaf spring is currently aligned because the bottom of the leaf spring is currently sitting hard up onto the diff, so mine's already aligned up. I'll pop this bump stop back on, and we've got some new U-bolts to bolt it on, and I'll need this mounting plate. So I'll take this shock off this mounting plate, and we'll get started on doing these U-bolts. Now when you tighten them, you want them all to be fairly even, and you can tell how even it is by looking at the thread, the actual thread bit there. Alright, I think they're all tightened up pretty evenly, as good as they're gonna get, so yeah, so it should be good there. Alright, so now we've got the U-bolts and the U-bolt plate back in, we've got the rear shackles in, we've got the front mounted on, we've got that line bracket mounted back onto the new leaf spring. We'll grease up those nipples, the 1, 2 there, and then the third one up the very front. Alright, so for the grease nipples, I bought these Craft brand grease guns from Bunnings for like 20 bucks. Super duper crap, but I'm hoping it'll just do this job. So you pretty much just shove this into the nipple of the pin, and you just pump it full of grease until you see grease splurging out somewhere. Shove it in there, give it a pump, and you should eventually see grease pop out from somewhere. Yep, and I can see grease popping out the other end. So that's how I know that the inside is full of grease now. And you just pull that off. Alright, so now I'm up to the stage of putting in the new shocks. It's just got, you know, just a boot on that. So they give you a cable tie to tie that boot down. So I'll pop that on now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some grease on that bush there, and that point there, and some on the inside as well, on both sides. So now I'm going to sit this shock in position, and this bottom point here goes there, so I'll just undo that bolt. Make sure that the washer is facing the right way. Slide that shock in there. It's nice and greased up, so it should go really easily, which it does. Yep, pop that next washer on, make sure it's facing the right way. Put that nut on. Oh, there's big tires in the way, but pretty much what we're going to do is I'll show you the other side just because there's no tire in the way, but you just lift it up until it hits the other point, and then you just put it on there and tighten it up. So there's a shock there. It goes up to that other mounting point up there. I'll see if I can get it on camera. That point there. Yep, that point there is where the top of the shock goes onto. So just reinstall that and you'll be right. Okay, so now that all of the suspension components are installed, we can go ahead and put the wheel back on and then lower the car down back onto its own weight. Then we can go around and tighten up all of those pins and all of the bolts that we didn't tighten up before. So I'm going to get this wheel back on, lower the car back down into the ground, and then we'll see how we go. Well guys, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I just thought I'd chat about the lift kit I got and how much it cost me. So I got a fulcrum 2-inch suspension lift kit with constant rear leaf springs rated to 350 kilograms and upgraded front springs to support the bullbar and winch. That set me back $11.50, which I think is a pretty good deal. You know, compared to the other suspension kits on the market, they can get a bit more pricey. I'll be doing a separate video on the front suspension, you know, because I didn't want this video to be too long and all that. So
And also keep a lookout for a X-Rocks bullbar install video too, so I'll be working on that pretty soon as well. So it's already on there. I just need to sit down, get it done on the computer, because I'm still new to all this, you know, video editing stuff. So if you guys liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. It'll really boost my, you know, motivation to make more videos. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.